Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak.
Wagwan family, welcome back to my YouTube space. Now, there's a video of a white guy here. There's a number of things he's talking about, and it caught my attention. I did this video back then, but I want to talk on another angle because she's talking about white pride, white guilty, white culture, and everything. So I want to thank every king, queen, elder, young warrior who have turned here right now. You are so special to me, and I love you so much. Now, your presence here is more powerful, and your voice matters a lot. It is threatening. And we are not just observers of this world. We are the ones shaping it. For you to watch this video, listen, commenting, and sharing, we are shaping the world. I have to talk about this video now in a clear way. This one white man saying that he is even scared to be white America, or it sucks to be white America, because he's talking about white America championing for white pride because they are scared to come to terms with white guilty. They are scared to admit they are wrong. And that's the same reason white America don't want to talk about reparation, because when they accept to pay reparation, or when they accept to have conversation about reparation, it is agreeing to that they are guilty. It's agreeing that what they have, they build on lies or they stole. And that's the reason why the system does not want to have this discussion. Or when they go ahead and do is they are going to erase the history. They are going to ban books. They are going to whitewash history. That's what they're going to do, so that to hide this, all of this. This is what I'm going to talk about. But before I do that, I want to watch these clips first, and then we come back.
It sucks to be a white American. Now hold on, give me a chance, let me explain. I want you to think of the kind of person who would put on a White Lives Matter sticker on the back of their Ford pickup. Why do they do that? Is it all racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture, not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing, or generally at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us feel a deep sense of guilt. I think it's why white people say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you probably don't see black people as objects, but you're refusing to accept the role our people have had in their oppression. That guilt we feel is our responsibility for the actions of our ancestors. It's why white people refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt. But black people deserve reparations. It just makes sense logically. You can sue someone for scratching your car, but black people can't sue the American government for the enslavement of their people. My people are arresting and deporting Mexican families from this country. Think about that. We are telling people that they are not allowed on the land we stole. Let's go a step further. White people stole a sacred land site from the people indigenous to this land, and then carved 4 white people's faces on it, most of which were slave owners. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a place that we look at and we're like, oh cool, giant faces. But to other people, it's a giant form of oppression, and admitting that and coming to terms with that sucks. We suck, dude. My people really and truly suck. Not all of us contributed to this oppression, but we are all a part of it. And this will mostly sound like virtue signaling. It will mostly sound like, look at how rough we are. But there is a reality to admitting this guilt and being honest with it. Because white people are afraid to do this. And we're afraid to admit it because My people are weak. White people are weak. We have power we have given ourselves and put down the cultures that are stronger than us because we know that we're weak. If white Americans were oppressed the same way black, native, or Mexican American people are, we would crack like glass. Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak. But this isn't the way it has to be forever. I have hope that one day my people will finally take responsibility for what we have done. I hope that we'll collectively accept our role in the oppression of our non-white brothers and sisters and finally take action. And it will take the action of us white folks. It's not just non-white people that have to fight for their rights. It's us too fighting for them because our cross to bear is being born white. Being born with the skin color of the oppressors means that we have to fight to be nothing like them. We're not near that right now. America is in a tumultuous stage where it very much does not feel like white people are acknowledging where they went wrong. But I want to have hope, and I refuse to accept that one day justice won't prevail. Collectively, we can all shed the shadow of oppression and share this place together. And that's the message I want to end with. I want to be hopeful that one day oppression will be something taught in history class, something that we don't have to see ourselves in. That's what I hope. Anyway, I want to be optimistic in the end. Anyway, that's it. It sucks to be a white American. Now hold on, give me a chance.
Feeling guilty about racism? That's totally normal. But that guilt can trap us. It makes the conversation about us, not about the harm that's being done. Our guilt might feel like awareness, but too often that guilt becomes a shield. I feel bad, so I must be good. It just doesn't change anything. And it keeps us stuck in self-focus. Here's how I move from guilt to responsibility. What can I learn? What can I do next? Guilt just centers our feelings, whereas accountability shifts our actions. I'm the anti-racist mum, and I teach white people how we can do better. If you're ready to become proactively anti-racist, click the link in my bio for resources and ways I can support you on this journey. And my next video will be all about how we can use our privilege for good. And
one thing clear is white pride, because that's where I want to talk so much. When I did this video last time, I was talking about the white culture. White people has no culture, but let me talk about white pride. As we know, all of us today, white pride is not about culture. White pride is not about unity. White pride is not about ancestral connection. White pride is about fear. And the man said this. That man is a white man. They can't say that we are making up things or are making up things anymore. You see, white pride didn't rise out of tradition. White pride rose out of insecurity, a fear that the system they build is finally being exposed. Because one thing is what happens when people stop buying into the lie of white supremacy. What happens if they stop buying the lie of the white supremacy is that the truth comes knocking. And when the truth comes, it is shaking the entire system. When the truth comes out, they panic. And that panic turns into pride. Not real pride, not the booga pride. No, it's not about the booga. This pride I'm talking about is a defensive shield to avoid responsibility. They say we are proud because they are scared to say we were wrong. They say don't arrest us when they know they have erased entire civilization, created another one, erased entire culture, created another one, and erased histories and bring their own history. This so-called white pride, it is built on denial, not legacy. White pride is not the booger. White pride is fear. I have something to talk about again. I have not finished. Let me talk about white guilty. Because deep down, white America knows that it has a past that is soaked in blood. They know it has a past from stolen land, stolen labor, stolen culture. Yet every time black people will bring it up, they say it wasn't me, or that was the past, or worst, or get over it. But what they don't want to admit is this: they still benefit from the past today. The house they inherited built on slavery, the laws they protect written during segregation, the wealth they hold rooted in centuries of exploitation. So when you ask them to simply face the truth, they call it reverse racism. That's what is happening in South Africa, but it's not like that. Even some white people knows it. And it's not that we don't have white friends. I have white friends. They know it. The ones who accept reality, okay? You can't reverse a crime that was never corrected. The guilt is there, and it haunts them. And that's why they react so strongly, because your truth threatens their illusion, okay? White America has no culture, that I talked about it, but we can go in and they know it. So let me talk about that a little bit. You see, culture is not about having a flag. Culture is not about having NFL league, having, the major league and everything, having the volleyball team. No, that's not culture, okay? Or having a holiday once per year. That's not a culture. Culture is something deeper. Let's talk about that. Culture is how you love. Culture is how you mourn. Culture is how you celebrate. It's how you do your spiritual beliefs, your ancestral memory, your music, your philosophy. That is culture. Now, let me ask, what is white America culture without black indigenous, Africans, or immigrant? The influence of migrant. What is black American culture? Just tell me. If we go to the music, black people, field track, black people, football, black people. They strip away and steal from black people. And what remains? Nothing original, because they did not invent jazz, they did not invent rock, they did not create the rhythms, the movements, the soul of that fuels the world. Instead, they imitate, they mimic, they consume, but they cannot create. You cannot replicate what black people have created, because true culture requires soul, and soul cannot be stolen. So what white America calls culture is often just control, dressed in tradition. Let me break this down. Their education system built to erase black and indigenous history. Their religion is weaponized to justify slavery. Their justice system designed to protect them, while criminalizing us. Their media is always casting themselves as heroes and black people as villains. You see that? So that one is not culture. That is domination. It's not about expression. That is about suppression. That is suppressing black people. So the culture or true culture doesn't need to silence others to exist. But this system is built on silence, built on stolen voices, buried stories, and whitewashed truths, And that's why they always panic when we speak. That's why they rage when we rise. That's why they do stuff of things when they see black people uniting, because they know very well, without control, their illusion fades, okay? It's like they just copy everything we do, okay? They turn their skin to look like us. They get lip fillers and butt implants. Sorry to say some of this, but educating, They wear braids, dreadlocks, African prints. They rap, they dance, they adapt slang until it's no longer trendy. But here is the key. They want our flavor, but not our fight. They want our beauty, but not our burden. They want our culture, but they don't want our context. And when we call it out, they say that we are just appreciating that. They're just appreciating it. We accept. Even when Africans were practicing the culture of black Americans, I saw some black Americans coming out very angry because you cannot appropriate culture. You can't do as they do. Everyone has his or her own culture. Okay? So no appreciation requires there. It just requires respect, understanding. It requires acknowledging where it comes from, because they don't acknowledge it. They monetize, they earn from it, but they don't give credit. So culture appropriation is not a compliment. It is a continuation of theft. And deep down, they know it. And that's why I say every day, truth always terrifies the system. This white man in the video who have spoke, the one who spoke the truth, he didn't just say words, but he broke the code. Okay? He exposed what white people feel. But they can't say that they are scared, not of black people being violent, but they are scared of black people being free. Free to love ourselves, free to reclaim our history, free to stop playing along. Okay? Because once we stop trying to fit in, we start building our own. Once we stop trying to squeeze on their tables, we start building our own. We own our own unity, our own economies, our own systems, and that terrifies them because their power was never designed to last. It was designed to suppress. Okay? While they panic, let's rise. Because blackness is not just a race. It's a culture, a civilization, a rhythm, a vibration, a source of life. So we are the origin, the root, and the blueprint. Okay? From Kemet to Kush, from Mali to Zimbabwe, from Mississippi to Jamaica, we carry the culture of the earth in our DNA. Our music changes the world. Our fashion set global trends. Our spirituality connects to the cosmos. Our survival is a miracle of strength. Okay? We don't need permission to be powerful. We were born that way. Okay? What we need to do this moment is just we keep rising. We don't beg to be seen. We build to be unignorable. We invest in our youths. We teach our true history. We support our black businesses. We reclaim our ancestral knowledge. And we unite. Not just in pain, but in power. Okay? Let the white America deal with their guilty. Let them face the lack of culture. But we are not here to save anyone. We are here to save ourselves. And that's what we are trying to do as black people. So family, every day I say we are not creating videos for hate. Okay? This video is not about hate. This video is about truth. A white man said what many has been afraid to admit. White pride is fear, white culture is missing, and guilt is eating the system alive. So let it crumble, let the illusion fall. As I say always, because we are still rising. If one day they come to admit with the terms, all will be well, because black people are the real source of human nature. So if this message is resonating with you, just share this video, okay? Let's meet on another episode. Peace out.